In the project Participatory Evidence Synthesis in Multiple Sclerosis and Complementary Therapies, or PEMS for short, we wanted to find out what complementary therapies are used by people with multiple sclerosis and for which complaints further research is needed. We took a participatory approach to this. In participatory research projects, we actively involve various interest groups known as stakeholders in the research process. In doing this, we aim to obtain scientific results that are relevant to these stakeholders. Using our PEMS project as an example, we demonstrated this approach. Important stakeholder groups were identified as people with MS, healthcare professionals, and researchers. In the first step, we surveyed almost 900 people with MS throughout Switzerland using an online questionnaire. This enabled us to understand which complementary therapies they primarily used and for which symptoms they were used. In addition, we systematically analyzed scientific literature and identified more than 80 studies on areas where complementary therapies for people with MS were already researched. Based on the results of the first two steps, researchers, healthcare professionals, and the Stakeholder Advisory Board drew up a list of potential outcomes. Then, in what is known as a consensus process, a total of 770 patients, researchers, and healthcare professionals from various countries evaluated the importance of these outcomes in an online survey and, as a result, defined priorities. For those outcomes where importance remained unclear after the survey, consensus was reached during 2 online meetings with a total of 19 participants. The result of this process was the definition of a core outcome set. This core outcome set was then used to classify the scientific evidence on complementary therapies for MS in an evidence and gap map. This is a freely accessible, innovative online tool that provides an overview of previous studies on complementary medicine in MS, as well as identifies research gaps. Thanks to the multi-stage participatory process, we ensured that the project's result, the evidence and gap map, highlighted the studies on procedures and outcomes that were considered important to people with MS, healthcare professionals, and researchers.